Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to the wonderful world of Goldleaf. So today in this video what I want to do is compare three types of Goldleaf used in fine art and decorative painting. We're going to start with standard imitation Goldleaf. We're going to test it against superior quality imitation, and finally we're going to end with an example of 24 karat gold. So you'll see how each performs during application, the visual differences, and then we can compare and contrast at the end. It's going to give you loads of advice and tips as we go along, and mistakes that I've made now and in the past, and so you don't have to. So let's crack on with it. This that I'm working with today, I actually bought from a new supplier in China, but I'm going to give you loads of options in the description below. So the first thing we do is I'm using a canvas panel and I'm going to cover it with the acrylic size. And again, all the details are going to be in the description. So this was the cheapest item that I bought, and this is the standard imitation gold leaf. And the size of the sheets are 14 by 14 centimeters, and they come with a tissue backing. If you want to check out my channel, you will see loads of videos on how to start a gold leaf project from start to finish, so I'm kind of rushing a little bit through this process, but because I really want to show you the comparison of each product. So I start by laying it down flat, and I use the tissue backing so that I'm not trying to hold this delicate piece of gold leaf on its own. And it is quite an art and takes a lot of practice to get it down flat without creasing or flaking or falling apart. Practice makes perfect, right? So, and then what I do with the second sheet, it slightly overlaps so that we're going to have a little seam that we will eventually be brushing away. And then as I'm laying it down, I press it down. I like to use a white cotton glove because it means I don't get sticky fingers anywhere on the gold leaf. So that's just something that I've started doing more recently, and now it's actually incredibly helpful. So I recommend maybe a pair of gloves is just useful. Okay, so let's lay it all down and then I'll show you what happens next. This gold leaf has a really nice, quite pale colour, which I really like. So once I've applied the gold leaf, I kind of like to just press it into the surface. So using this tissue backing as like a protective layer, I press it into the surface quite vigorously with a soft brush. And then once I finish doing that, what I do is I take this soft brush and I start brushing away all the excess gold leaf. So you're going to go along all the seams, any bits that have creased, all around the edges. If you need to, you can. I normally start with the softest brush, and then I possibly need to use a stiffer brush if there's any areas that need a bit of extra brushing. As you can see, we are getting a really nice finish with this gold leaf. The lines are quite visible, which you will find is very common with gold leaf, and that is the traditional look. And there are ways to avoid those lines being visible, but that's another video. I've written you a handy little list of pros and cons, and my biggest bugbear with standard imitation gold leaf is that when you're using it in a large quantity, say on a very large canvas, at times there can be variation of colour between the different sheets, and that can be really annoying. I've tried a few suppliers in the UK for superior quality gold leaf, and I've been really impressed. And so when I was trying out this new supplier in China, the minimum order is 1,000 sheets and it came in this really nice box, and I got this beautiful stack of gold leaf. So let's see how it works and see at the end how I feel about it versus the suppliers that I've used in the UK. So the canvas is perfectly tacky and ready for Goldleaf to be stuck to. And what I've noticed already is that when I pick up the sheet with the tissue backing, it doesn't feel flimsy at all. It's slightly thicker. It's easier to work with because it doesn't feel like it's going to drop. And it's just a little bit more robust without losing that fine looking quality. And the colour is very golden, very glittery, which personally I love, and I can imagine that that is very much a personal taste, because I have had some superior quality gold leaf which is much more muted. This one's quite blingy, and so far I'm loving it. Honestly, brushing away excess gold leaf is one of my favourite things to do in the world. It's just so intensely satisfying. It's interesting with this gold foil because it kind of comes off in like strips and then it disintegrates into like glitter. So I did a big project with this a little while ago just to test it out, and I was absolutely covered in this glittery remnant, which was fine by me. I'm cool with that. So yeah, it's interesting. It has a different texture. And then I've got this gorgeous great big stack of 1,000 sheets, which is fine because I teach gold leaf to people in real life and they're going to enjoy it. So here's my little list of pros and cons, and I would say that my biggest plus with superior quality gold leaf is the consistency of colour. You know, it's incredibly reliable. And here's a project that I made recently. In fact, I made a video about it, which you can check out. Finally, we are moving on to the 24 karat gold. And the first thing I want to tell you about is the type of size that I'm using. So for real gold, we need to use an oil-based size. So I've just bought a small bottle so that I can experiment with it. Full disclosure, I do not have a huge amount of experience with real gold leaf, so I'm going to make some mistakes. Isn't that good? I think that's nice for you to see. I did make a video back in January of a commission that I had at Christmas, which was amazing, but yeah, using real gold leaf is a whole different ballgame, and actually applying gold leaf sheets to a canvas is quite technically difficult. The gold leaf that I used at Christmas was what we call transfer, so it's actually stuck to the backing, and that's slightly easier to apply to a canvas and keep it flat. So these are loose leaf sheets of gold, and they are smaller size, so they're 8 by 8 centimeters, and each one is kind of wrapped with tissue around both sides. But as you open up one side of the tissue, it is loose, so they're incredibly delicate. And if you'll see, I'm going to place my first sheet down here and look what happens. So everything looks good until, yeah, it's very fine and fly away, so very, very hard to get it to lay down flat as I did with my other imitation gold leaf sheets. Hence why I prefer to use transfer sheets. I do have a video in my library about how to use transfer sheets. but this supplier doesn't provide Goldleaf with transfer. So I do have some tools for specialist gilding, and this is this gorgeous little brush, and so I'm just actually using that almost to cut away the excess, but being very careful not to get those lovely bristles into the size. And then I have a cutting knife, so I thought, let me be clever and try and pick up a piece of gold leaf and see if I can patch it. But even as I tried to patch, it just crinkles instantly. But I want to reassure you that even though if it looks quite messy and a bit disastrous, ultimately we're going to get a good result. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Obviously with real gold leaf you do want to be a bit more careful in not creating waste because it's incredibly expensive. So I've been using my scissors and I've been cutting up some of these squares into smaller areas that I can use to patch. And then I'm going to do what I did with the others, where I take my tissue and I just kind of go step by step around the surface and press it in gently. The whole thing looks a little bit chaotic and a little bit messy, and there's a lot of crinkling and rough areas. At this stage I'm feeling quite nervous, but let's see how I go with creating a better finish. I do love this colour, it's really beautiful, isn't it? So I'm just going to take a little brush and just try and brush off the areas that have got the most excess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cotton wool, and I'm going to, with circular movements, I'm going to burnish the whole surface, and let's see what happens when I do that. Well, this is fun, and it is starting to bring the gold luster really out beautifully. It's creating a lovely smooth finish, although obviously this canvas board does have a texture, but yeah, it's amazing. Who'd believe it, because it looked like such a mess, right? So I'm just going to keep going, do a little bit more burnishing, and then we will be done with our 24 karat gold piece. When it comes to my list of pros and cons of real gold leaf, I guess what I really want to highlight to you is the difficulty of using this product to cover a flat surface, especially if it's textured like canvas. So then you would need a different product, which is the transfer sheets, which is what I used for this commission of these hummingbirds. But for details and for creating magical little details with gold leaf, I would say the colour is just glorious. And obviously, I mean, at the end of the day, it's real gold, so people are going to be wowed by it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through different types of gold leaf. I really hope it's been helpful for you. Please leave me any comments in down below. Tell me what you want to learn, what problems you're having. I am pretty much obsessed with gold leaf, and it's been really satisfying showing you 3 different types side by side so you can compare and contrast. And obviously each one has enormous benefits versus cons. if you're just starting out, standard imitation gold leaf off Amazon or any art supplier, it's fantastic. You can have so much fun, you can get an amazing result. In the past I've used some real gold leaf for making tiny details on a bird painting. I prefer to use the transfer sheets for canvas, but then that makes it incredibly expensive as a artwork to sell or for commission. I guess my heart is really lying with the superior quality gold leaf because it's so consistent. You can get some gorgeous colors, and it really isn't a huge leap in price on from the standard. So yeah, please come back again, see me next time, more gold leaf inspiration and tuition, and thanks for being here. Bye.